Can we get one more, maybe? Or we? Okay, okay. One, two. Okay. One, two. One, two. Okay, not.
The beauty of rooms,
Yes.
so that you see they coexist peacefully together
It's a
with
little
each other.
strange, but you get used to it.
It's like silent disco. Have this?
I've been to silent concerts in the park.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you
How
for
did you like it?
It's a very strange
This is Indonesia
format
with
because you have the people
doing this in all
performing
the things.
and you have to wear very headphones to listen.
Yes.
So it's really strange, but that way it
So
kind of
you are in the
adds
same.
you know,
No, 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 in the
which is
same.
something strange because in a concert you
Others.
usually share it with other people.
But this you're just keeping it to yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I'm gonna experience it. All right. Are we good?
It's strange.
Yes. Feels really strange. It will take getting used to. Are we ready to commence? Are we ready to commence? Are we ready to commence?
Okay. It's not you.
One, two. Ladies and distinguished speaker and esteemed participants, good afternoon. Welcome to this pivotal session on the forum on internet governance. And being here in Rio, part of the Middle East, we will be on sustainability. My name is David Opatuma, and it is both an honor and a privilege
Just hold it from here.
Interesting formats. Very interesting formats. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, esteemed guests, good afternoon. Welcome to this pivotal session on Internet Governance Forum 2024 here in Riyadh. And we will be focusing on the theme of sustainability. My name is David Opatuma, and it is both an honor and a privilege to serve as your moderator for this session. As we gather in the heart of the Middle East, a region known for its visionary strides in innovation and development, today's conversation would reflect the urgency of our time, the need to harmonize progress with sustainability. And the global digital ecosystem continues to expand at an unprecedented pace. So it offers now new opportunities for economic growth, for social inclusion, and technological breakthroughs. However, it is also presenting unique challenges that demand our immediate attention and collective action. This session will explore the interconnections of technology, governance, and sustainability by examining how these can converge to address some of the most pressing issues of our era, such as climate change, digital equity, and the transition to greener economies. We're privileged today to have with us some exceptional professionals and speakers who will be speaking on this panel, and their work exemplifies the transformative power of collaboration. So, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to introduce firstly Dr. Mohammed Al Surf, the founder and president of Sustainability Professionals of Saudi Arabia, whose groundbreaking work and initiatives in sustainability and sustainable designs and green certifications have set benchmarks in the region and beyond. You're welcome, Dr. Surf. It's good to have you. And also we have Ms. Maria Fernanda Garza, who is the honorary chair of the International Chamber of Commerce. And she is an amazing visionary advocate for global standards in sustainable business practices and transparent transparent progress tracking. It's so good to have you join us today. And last but not least, we have May Siksik, who I hope I pronounced that right, and who is the Chief Executive Officer of Canadian Innovation Network, which is a network that is heralding the emergence of newer strides of collaboration and partnerships for global development workers in health and other strides. It's so good to have you join us on this session. So moving right into it, I will start by mentioning some of the areas that our conversation will focus on and then address some questions to our speakers. And by the end of their speeches, we will be able to have some submissions from the audience and probably directed questions to some of the speakers, just in case we have enough time for that. So our discussions today will focus on 4 transformative thematic areas. And this is 1, investing in the future, building transparent metrics, bridging the digital divide, and establishing and adopting green certifications, which sets the benchmark for industry-wide sustainability. So through this dialogue, one thing we'll be able to do is to exchange ideas, but also inspire actionable solutions, drawing from both the wealth of knowledge and experiences represented both by the speakers and our esteemed listeners and guests. So before we begin, let us remember one thing. Sustainability is not merely a goal. It is a shared responsibility and transcends borders, industries, and disciplines. Together we have the power to shape a future where technology serves humanity and the planet. So thank you once more for joining this session, and we are going right into the conversations. So I will start first with you, Dr. Mohammed. So tell us, please, how can sustainable design principles and green certifications such as LEED and TRUE be leveraged and advanced to be leveraged to advance energy efficient data infrastructure and clean technologies in Saudi Arabia and, of course, the Middle East by extension, while addressing the scaling challenges and promoting globally recognized sustainability benchmarks in emerging economies?
Thank you very much for this. Good afternoon. Thank you first of all for IGF for hosting us and this amazing event, which highlights the importance of internet and the technology and incorporating sustainability into it. I come from a background focusing on sustainability basically in the built environment, but recently I've expanded to be a cross-sector professional, so that's why we established the Sustainability Professionals of Saudi Arabia to cover all aspects we deal with on a daily basis. Internet is one of them, and technologies again, a primitive for expanding the knowledge and expertise. Looking at where we're heading with internet, with data centers, and all of that, certifications come into a pivotal role to play in reducing our overall consumption of energy and greenhouse gas emissions. Before I joined today, I was kind of like just refreshing my numbers and updating my figures about energy consumption, data centers, and all of that. And it's quite astonishing where we're heading, the trajectory of energy consumption from a global scale. But taking into perspective Saudi Arabia as one of the fast expanding market in all aspects, but mainly in internet and data centers and AI, the energy consumption and the overall resulting carbon emission coming from it is going to be exponential. And globally, we're looking at 1.3 to 3% of energy consumption just for data centers. So when we talk about sustainability, when we talk about the certifications, it's not just about a typical or one certification per se, but what's the main goal behind it? So the green building certification for LEED, for example, it looks at different aspects, different perspectives, ranging from energy efficiency, materials and resources, indoor environmental quality, and all of that. There's also the True certification for zero waste. There's the Envision rating system for sustainable infrastructure. There's Mustadam, which is the local rating system, and many other certifications. For energy itself, we're looking at the Energy Star rating system, okay, to certify that the equipment itself is energy efficient. So it's not really kind of there's no kind of right answer or solution to go for. You can use a combination of any of these certifications, but what is the main goal? What is the KPI you want to look for at the end of the day? So looking at where we're going and looking at the amount of equipment that we're going to have in the near future, some of the targets are looking at 2030, and I'm pretty sure we're going to reach those targets or KPIs before that. And Saudi has proven that they have reached several of their KPIs before 2030, including tourism and all and other sectors. So our target is basically to look at what innovations are available, not just from the certification point of view, but the energy efficiency technologies that we can have. The new innovations, for example, emerged data centers that, the racks themselves are emerged in solutions that can actually reduce the energy consumption 30-40% instead of just cooling them the traditional way. So there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. And it's like these platforms, like these forums that we will discuss where are the difficult parts that don't link together and try to solve the issues together. So you can stay days here to discuss this topic, but I'm interested to hear what my other colleagues have to say about this.
Amazing. Thank you very much for that submission. Thank you very much for that submission, and it interests me because with some of the submissions you made, I basically have one follow-up question on that, because obviously we understand that you're the first Saudi to basically be a faculty to be a faculty member of the U.S. Green Building Council, and based on that, it shows that some of the initiatives you implement here works, and with your over 9,000 members in the association you founded here, for example, how are you able to export your results? Because with the metrics currently, we have the Sustainable Development Goals targets, having 17% success rates. So how are you able to mitigate this with your expertise and experiences as someone who has been able to achieve this level of results in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East? How are you able to export these results?
It was a difficult journey, to say the least. As you mentioned, I was one of the first few in Saudi to basically tackle the sustainability industry. One of which was being the USGBC faculty back, I think it was 12 years ago or something like that. For a lot of has happened since then, but several kind of let's say obstacles have been. I've seen them all, over and over again. Is this good? Yeah. Okay. Good. Hear this? كلهم شغالين. Okay. So anyhow, the obstacles basically start with lack of awareness, and that's why I approached to be a faculty basically 12 years ago. Lack of awareness, lack of initiatives that can advance people to really do something with their capabilities. We're not talking about rocket science here. We're talking about something that normal people can do and contribute to the industry. So over the years, educating the professionals, educating the public, it was evident that there needs to be a body or an entity that can be an umbrella to communicate all of the efforts that Saudi Arabia is doing and promote the efforts done by either entities or individuals. So that's where the Sustainable Professionals Association came into play. And the idea was taken, actually adopted from the International Society for Sustainability Professionals. And I became an associate with them again a few years back. I tried to get them to come to Saudi, but they don't have that in their business model. So the other way around it was to actually initiate our own entity and become a member in that international association. So that's what happened here. Now, the numbers you mentioned are actually outdated. I need to go back and check all of my social medias and update the numbers. We're actually beyond the 16,000 members from 95 different countries. So it's not just Saudi Arabia. So that shows you how people are eager to find something that they can be part of as a community. And that's basically SDG 17, the partnership part. So we're over 95 countries participating in this association, and it's open platform for everybody to contribute in. And through this contribution, through this community, we try to kind of tackle the challenges that we find. And it's not just for Saudi Arabia; it's for the region, for the world. We're not part of planet C or D. We're part of one planet. So anything we can do here in Saudi and take it as a model and deploy it, export it to other entities or governments or countries, we are happy to have Saudi Arabia as your testing ground or as a platform that we can actually contribute to the rest of the world. And that's what's happening now.
Amazing. And that submission just gave me the perfect motivation to go and get your book, 10 Steps to Become a Sustainability Professional. And I think that will be a very good read to help me replicate some of your progresses. Thank you very much for that. And next we will have Miss Maria Fernanda Garza. So, as a visionary and a global advocate for global standards, especially in sustainable business and practices, why do you believe the integration of data is essential in driving sustainability efforts? How can standardized data platforms and transparent metrics, for example, supported by organizations like the ICC, drive sustainability efforts to enhance the SDG progress tracking, for example, and to empower businesses, particularly SMEs, while addressing the barriers to global consensus on data integration and accountability?
Well, thank you very much. And I am so happy to be here on this so very important panel. As honorary chair of the International Chamber of Commerce, I represent businesses across the globe that are deeply committed to driving inclusive, sustainable development through innovation and collaboration. And just let me, for those of you who are not familiar with the ICC, let me tell you a little bit about it. ICC is the business representative of over more than 45 million companies in more than 170 countries. So we're basically the World Business Organization. And through a unique mix of advocacy, solutions, and standard settings, we promote international trade, responsible business conduct, and a global approach to regulation. Our members include most of the world's leading companies, but also SMEs like myself, and business associations and local chambers of commerce. ICC was founded in 1919, and for over 100 years, it has served as the voice of business across many international organizations and multi-stake fora like this one. So today, I want to focus on the interplay between the digital transformation and sustainability. And I would like to highlight the shared responsibility that businesses, governments, and other stakeholders have to ensure that technological advancement really benefit the people and the planet. Digital transformation, we all know that it is a powerful catalyst for sustainability, that it's capable of reshaping industries and driving environmental, social, and economic progress. And at its core, digitalization enhances efficiency, reduces resource consumption, and fosters innovative and sustainable solutions. So one way in which digitalization drives sustainability is through data and analytics. The ability to collect and to analyze vast amounts of data allows businesses and governments to make informed and optimized decisions and resource use and minimize environmental impact. For example, the smart grids and the AI-powered energy systems can monitor and manage energy consumption in real time, improving energy efficiency and reducing waste. And this can be applied to everything from renewable energy integration to optimization of supply chains, leading to more sustainable business practices across all industries. Another significant area of is in sustainable product development and circular economy. Digital tools like the 3D printing, the Internet of Things, and the blockchain allow companies to design products with longer life cycles, track the sourcing of materials, and ensure the products that can be more easily recycled and repurposed. So this shift towards a circular economy helps reduce waste and minimizes the depletion of natural resources. Digital technologies also empower better management of these same natural resources, from agriculture to water management. Today, precision agriculture uses the Internet of Things and AI to monitor the health of the crops, optimize irrigation, and to reduce the use of pesticides and fertilizers. So this not only leads to more sustainable farming practices, but also contributes to food security and improves livelihoods. But the role of digitalization in sustainability extends beyond just technology and innovation. As more people gain access to digital technologies, they can participate in the global digital economy. This can have far-reaching impacts, from improved access to education and healthcare to greater economic opportunity for marginalized communities. When people are digitally connected, they have the tools to unlock their own potential and to contribute to inclusive growth and social equity, which are key pillars of sustainable development. And the benefits are many and far-reaching. The key challenge here is ensure that they are shared widely and that we manage these technologies responsibly, keeping sustainability at the heart of everything that we do. This means developing and scaling technologies that minimize environmental impacts while maximizing social and economic benefits. Businesses are leading this effort by developing innovations like AI, driven energy optimization and renewable energy powder systems, but this must be supported by clear policy incentives and public-private collaboration. Data plays a huge role in today's global economy, and it's essential for running businesses, delivering government services, and fostering international cooperation. Simply put, data helps us make better decisions, whether it's tracking progress on the SDGs, using resources more efficiently, or identifying gaps in connectivity. It is crucial for businesses, for governments, and for the communities to act with more precision and accountability. So that said, mistrust in data is on the rise. A lot of it comes from the complexity of understanding data, how it works, and the risks that are involved in handling it. There are also concerns about sharing data across borders that could impact national issues like security, like privacy, and economic safety. And this fear is driving more countries toward data localization and digital protectionism, And these policies restrict the data, the free flow of data. While these policies may feel like they protect the national interests, they often lead to more fragmented internet systems, which can hurt the economic growth and make cybersecurity even more difficult to manage. So to fully unlock the data's potential, we need a global approach to data governance, one that is built on trust and cooperation, that really protects individual rights while enabling cross-border data flows to drive innovation and growth. Furthermore, digital transformation cannot be sustainable if it leaves billions of people behind. Yet the digital divide remains a start. Entire regions lack meaningful internet access, and too many people faces barriers to participation in the digital economy. So closing this gap requires targeted investments. First of all, we have infrastructure. We need to expand the resilient connectivity through diverse technologies that are tailored to the local needs and conditions. Also, locally relevant applications and services that are responsive to the unique needs of each community and are accessible in their own languages. And third, we need skills to equip people with the tools and the abilities that they need to really thrive in a digital world. And this is not just about connecting people to the internet. It's about unlocking human potential. It's about creating resilient communities. Because when people are empowered to participate fully in the digital economy, the ripple effects are very profound. And new markets emerge, innovation accelerates, and societies prosper. So none of these goals, reducing environmental impact, optimizing data for sustainable development, or bridging the digital divide, can be achieved in isolation. Collaboration is absolutely essential. Business must innovate responsibly, investing in sustainable technologies and inclusive practices. Governments must create enabling environments with policies that incentivize green innovations, support digital inclusion, and uphold ethical standards for data use. And civil society must help keep us accountable, ensuring that all voices, especially those from marginalized communities, are heard and are considered. The IGF exemplifies precisely this kind of multi-stakeholder cooperative that we need to address these challenges. It is in a space like this one where ideas can transform into actionable commitments and where diverse perspectives can shape a shared vision for a sustainable digital future. So digitalization has the power to accelerate our progress toward a more sustainable and equitable world, but this progress will not be automatic. It requires intention, it requires innovation, and collaboration at every level. So international cooperation rooted in meaningful multi-stakeholder input and an evidence-based policy making can help ensure that digital technologies are not only tools of convenience, but engines of transformation that will drive sustainability and prosperity for all. Thank you.
So much for that informative and yet inspiring submission. And when you were making some submissions, some questions and thought comes to mind, and then the next comment you make answers them. So I was hoping to ask you some questions, but it seemed as though you kept on answering them. And that leaves me with one question. We understand that in June of 2022, you became the first woman to be elected as the chair of the International Chamber of Commerce. And my question now is a bit personal. Has there been any noticeable challenges for you personally in advancing some of the sustainability agendas you have? Personal agendas now, not corporate, because you already answered all aspects I was going to ask corporately.
Well, yes, there have been many challenges. I come from a country that invented the word machismo, so you can imagine. But I've seen in the last years a transformation that Saudi Arabia basically, portraits so beautiful. You can see, like, in the past 6 years, how much things have changed. So that really brings me a lot of hope for the rest of the world, because if you can accomplish it here, you would ask me 10 years ago, I would say that it was not possible to happen, then every country in the world can accomplish it, not only in gender equality, but also in precisely utilizing all of these technologies to improve the livelihoods of all the citizens of the world.
Amazing. So we will have one last speaker, and after that, the floor will be open to you, amazing participants and audience, to make contributions, ask questions, and hopefully we address all of these and come up with very good outcomes by the end of this session. So, to you, Maya Siksik, that name will stick in my head. The Dr. Mohammed, Ms. Garza, they all mentioned vehemently the concept of collaboration.
Yeah.
So what does the Canadian Innovation Network do to advance these levels of collaboration to especially local underserved communities, marginalized communities? How are you able to represent the voices of all sectors, not in their national or most popular forms, but even in hard-to-reach societies and situations? How are you able to do that in your network?
Thanks, David. Is this working? Okay. So the very first time I was really truly exposed to interdisciplinary collaboration was through my PhD. So I'm an engineer by training, but my PhD was in the intersection of engineering, medicine, and biophysics. And it was the very first time that I really was exposed to interdisciplinary collaboration and the potential impact that can have. So I won't dive into what I did for my PhD, but one of my favorite topics. But I'll answer. But that really got me thinking about what else can be done when we sit together, when the right team sits together to design a solution. So we used to be called, by the way, Canadian Innovation Network. We've recently changed our name as of several months ago to be Innovation Network Canada, because we do want to be global. We're not restricted to Canada. So Innovation Network Canada, we're focused on addressing pressing global challenges using interdisciplinary and holistic, I underline holistic collaboration in a way that's aligned with the United Nations SDGs. And as you guys both mentioned, sustainability is not just a word. It really is. It's sustainability and effectiveness of a solution go hand in hand together. So the way we address this with interdisciplinary collaboration is that we start with our goals. So I'll give you an example. For example, so we're quite active in a few sectors. One of them is healthcare. So we establish a consortium in healthcare in every sector that we have that has tech companies that can come together to provide a holistic solution. So not siloed approaches, right? We create these projects and sorry about that. Got a little too excited. So we bring these companies together. That's one type of stakeholders. We also bring end users to this consortium, people who want to use these technologies, or they say, okay, once the solution is ready, we are going to use it. We bring commercialization entities who say, this is a fantastic solution, we are going to go and commercialize it globally. And we bring funding organizations to this. But I want to give an example of how we go about this. So for health, it's really important that we start with goals what are our goals, and then how do we go about achieving these goals. So for example, in healthcare, we know that we can have a lot healthier population with the technologies we have. We know we really want to cut down the cost of healthcare. We want it to be accessible to everybody, no one left behind, equitable and inclusive. Okay, we understand then that, okay, to be able to do that, one of the things that we need to do is to be able to provide a comprehensive picture of an individual's health. So how do we do this? Then we look at, okay, what are the different pieces of the puzzle of human health? We need to look at real-time physiological markers. How are our bodies reacting throughout the day? We need to look at biomarkers, what's present in our system right now, and what can these biomarkers tell us about our health right now and where we're headed. Because we know this, then not only that we can do things like prevention and early detection, but we can actually, on a population level, we know where we are right now in terms of health and where we're headed, so we can allocate resources much more effectively and efficiently. We also look at brain health. We look at genomics. And finally, we really need algorithms that can crunch on all of this data to give us actionable insights, and to do this in a sustainable way. So we bring in companies that address these pieces of the puzzle, right? So wearables, we bring AI-based medical diagnosis, brain tech, and so on, genomics. And we drive these projects. So, for example, create an app so that you can, one of the biggest challenges I know in healthcare in Canada, and I'm pretty sure it's probably elsewhere in the world as well, about 40% of the population, by the way, has, on a global level, has some sort of heart disease. Maybe not very serious, some of them are very serious. So we have a chest band, and so we replaced a Holter monitor, which is cumbersome, it's very expensive, it's a device that you get hooked onto. We've developed a fabric chest band that you can actually throw in the wash, and but it can do your your ECG analysis for your heart, and it's much cheaper. It's accessible to people who are living remotely, and what happens is that if a cardiac event happens in your heart, which like I said, about 40% of the population they get cardiac events. Some of them turn into something serious, some don't. But the key is that you want to catch these before they turn into something serious, because heart disease is really mostly preventable. So we can catch that without the user even knowing that something happened. We generate a report that goes to the doctor and tell the user as well. Telehealth then sets up an appointment if needed, and so on. So these are the type of, I know I probably have talked for too long. Sorry about that. But yeah, so these are the type of, we were working on virtual. So it's incredible to see what comes out when you bring people from different, like the right set of stakeholders. And I just want to say that it's not just the tech companies, it's not just the hospitals. We bring together also communities and academics. It's really, we're big on responsible development. Responsible development of technologies must be an important aspect of interdisciplinary and holistic collaboration as well, because you cannot have an effective solution if you don't have if you don't develop the technology responsibly. So we actually, for example, work with any community that we're developing a solution for. We bring them to be part of the solution. So we're working with the Tsleil-Waututh First Nation in British Columbia. It's one of the main nations in Canada, Indigenous nation, and they are part. So we're building a medical center for them, main hospital, not for them. See, I'm catching myself. We're actually doing it together. So they're building it. We're doing it together, and they are part of the development. They're part of the say on what does the solution look like, how can we design it together. And what's incredible, is the last thing I'm going to say. So what's incredible about this is that once you do this properly, other things come out of this. So for example, this Indigenous nation, they are building a school on their land, and we're now helping design together their curriculum. We're introducing quantum computing to the kids to be to be taught, quantum and pictures, and other things. So I'll stop here.
Thank you so much. And that's a quite unique angle to it. And after you gave the statistics, about 40% of people living globally having a certain, I started thinking. So 4 out of
Not
every 10.
serious.
Interesting. We all should get our hearts checked,
No,
or maybe
serious.
get that device. But I have now one question in line with, because I understand by your experience, you created Sapios, for example, using AI to solve health challenges, your experience with the Canadian Research Council, and all of that. I see how you are able to marry AI, research, and a lot of things that are in a way very relevant to developed settings and societies. And now you talked about the globalization of your initiative and your network, so it's not just Canada. So my question to you, as it relates to countries that are not so advanced or might not be able to afford that level of healthcare or preventive measure, is this: how has your experiences in leading organizations like maybe even deep tech in Canada, for example, and the Quantum Algorithm Institute, for example, influenced your approach to fostering innovative ways to bridging this gap between civilizations? That's basically it. And how is it, how are you able to employ your vast experiences in research to create market-ready technologies that are able to be accessible to even communities that are not able to afford it by other standards?
Yeah. So thanks, David. These are great points. So I'll address them one by one. So in terms of, we do want to make sure that we give back to these communities. So for example, I'll give an example of the medical center. We've designed, part of the system is a digital wallet. So what we're doing is there's a ton of incredible data, and every transaction, so we will be partnering with pharmaceutical industry, with financial institutes and so on, to incentivize healthy behavior. And every single time we're creating a market, what we call a market network for this system, where you can be matched with certain specialists and people who do certain procedures and so on. Every single time there is a transaction, a little bit of money goes back to the nation. And again, also the users are getting incentivized. So insurance companies are, they will, we're partnering with them to incentivize healthy behavior. Every single time we do any transaction, a little bit goes back to the community to give back. So that's what we're doing. And again, what's incredible about this, by sitting together and co-creating together, by having the communities as part of this, it's just unbelievable, all the opportunities that come up to monetize things and to give back to the community, because they're part of this. They can tell you, yes, we can, this is what we have access to, and so on. So so the other thing I wanted to mention, so you talked about how do we bring market ready. Again, I'm going to go back to trying to work on getting rid of siloed developments, and I want to give an example here. So Triumph is Canada's national particle accelerator, like CERN in Switzerland. And so they're actually, we collaborate strongly with CERN. So I've been working with Triumph for many years now. And Triumph, so prior to my work with Triumph, it was difficult. So you asked, what did you learn from previous organizations? So when I worked at the Quantum Algorithms Institute, there's a quantum group at Triumph, and we collaborated together. And I remember the board of directors at the Quantum Algorithms Institute saying, these guys are particle physicists. Why are we collaborating with them? This is where we're because the Quantum Algorithms Institute was focused on commercializing quantum computing in Canada. So but people often don't really look into this enough. Triumph develops algorithms. Yes, they're used for particle physics, but they are amazing to be applied in other areas, right? And they can be commercialized. And there's a commercialization arm to Triumph, but my board of directors at the time didn't see this, and it was and we worked on it, and of course all worked out at the end. But just having that approach, seeing that interdisciplinary approach.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Dear colleagues, one thing that has been repetitive in all their submissions has been the concept of collaboration, partnership for the goals. And with the little time left, the floor is now open to you to give your amazing responses, to ask your specific questions, and hopefully we get that done shortly. So please, by show of hands, does anyone want to make contribution or ask questions? Okay.
Thank you. I want to ask a question to the lady who.
We cannot hear. No, but we don't have
You can just
So
talk
you
a
can-
little
can
loud.
you
It's totally fine. I think. I don't know. I'm letting it.
Maybe you can come closer.
Yeah, come
Come
here.
closer and maybe you take off your headphone. Yes, now you can hear us.
I'll have to, otherwise others can't hear. I want to ask a question from you because you mentioned about engaging the stakeholders, the community. How do you track the data? Are you using something like blockchain to see how the data is tracked?
So this is a really good question, really good point. So indigenous communities, I don't know if everybody here heard, but data for First Nations in Canada was not dealt with properly a long time ago by the government. So it's a big issue, and it was on the news quite a while ago. And so we have the government has a reconciliation initiatives trying to fix things with the indigenous communities. So, but they've been bit by that. So data privacy is really big. So yes, we are using blockchain for digital wallet, for example, is blockchain based on blockchain. We're using this technology to make sure that we're very careful with data privacy.
Thank you. Is there any specific blockchain I'm asking you these questions because I'm a researcher. Sorry, I'm asking these questions because I'm a researcher. I'm interested to find out whether you're using a specific blockchain.
So we have different solutions, so we're agnostic. But right now, for this particular medical solution, we're exploring different. We have a few different solutions, and we're actually seeing which one will work the best. And it's funny. This is a good point because they are also involved in this evaluation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more?
I have just one.
Okay. Please go ahead.
When you were speaking, can you hear me? Yeah. When you were speaking, I definitely I agree with you, David, that as they would say in Sesame Street, the world of today is collaboration. I mean, we have huge challenges in front of us, but the only way we are going to be able to solve them is if we collaborate each other. And your question about the solutions to underdeveloped or underprivileged communities, how to approach that. And I know that this is a technological panel, but I would love to give you an example of one of our members, a company in Norway that manufactures these chambers where they put the preborn babies, the immature babies, and because incubators, because in some African countries that is a huge challenge for the surviving of babies that are born ahead of time. And they were sending the machines, but after a while they were not working, and they were so technologically developed with all kinds of chips and things that they really become not helpful for the community. So they put their heads to work, and they said, okay, what kind of technicians do we have in these countries? What kind of technology are they familiarized with? And they found out that it was for cars. So they took parts of cars that they were able to fix very fast. And for example, they took the wiper system of the cars and the pump for the water for the windshields. And that is the kind of products that and material that they use to develop incubators that can really work all the time, can be fixed inside, and can really help the community. So sometimes, even though we have access to the best technology, we need to start lower our expectancies and really go and
Yeah.
think how the local people think to really overcome these challenges, and then they will be able to continue developing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So, dear colleagues, I think we're running out of time. And with a few minutes, about a minute left, I would just like to take the last comments from our speakers who just in 30 seconds say something, and we call this session to a close. Please, we'll start from you, Dr. Mohammed. Yeah,
Well, as you rightly said about what we are talking about here, it's all about collaboration, and you can see the diversity of the panel, and how we can actually combine our efforts together. So it's just a matter of taking it forward and thinking locally but acting globally. So I think that's one message from my side.
I wanted to say that I always find that it's always great to have a conversation with people around you, and it's amazing sometimes what comes of random conversations. So it's always good to chat to people that whom you work with and different teams and so on. Yeah, so.
amazing. Thank you.
Well, I really want to thank you for coming to the IGF, because this is the portrait of what the future should be for governance. This is a multi-stakeholder forum where all the voices are heard, and this is how we need to construct the policy for these new technologies and for the future. So thank you.
Thank you so much, dear colleagues. And just as a mode of announcement, if you're interested in ESG, there will be another interesting session in workshop room 1 that will start now and last for about an hour. With that being said, dear colleagues, thank you so much for your attention, for your participation, and for your collaboration. Thank you on behalf of the Digital Governance Authority of Saudi Arabia, and it's my pleasure to have served as your moderator today. Looking forward to future collaborations and actions. Thank you.